know what, that's been a complete game changer for us. Was that like Facebook Marketplace or something?
Yes.
You use that?
Yes.
Do you know what? I recently moved to a different, like a small little country in the British Isles from where I was before, and I hadn't really used Facebook Marketplace before. And we came over, and it's massive here. Everyone uses it, and
Really?
I'd know. And my God, it's changed. It's changed the game completely. Like
Yeah.
totally different. Whenever the first place I go, or my wife goes, if we want anything, is right. Let's check Marketplace, see if it's on there first.
Yep.
It's lovely. Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, you're in Iowa, is that right?
Yes, Iowa.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And what sort of place within Iowa is that?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Right, lovely. Okie
Yeah.
dokie.
Yeah.
And how long have you been there, James?
I've been here since 2018.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Hello, by the way. Thanks for coming on the show. I pressed live.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. You know, it's a bit of a meet your hero kind of thing for me with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
It's I'm from a CrossFit background. I started in 2011, and I had a bit of a power background, so my strengths are with a barbell and yeah, both power and Olympic weightlifting. And from midway through my kind of last 14 years, sorry, you've been on the radar, and I followed Juggernaut a little bit as well, obviously through the years. And you popped up, and you were this phenom that was like doing these crazy things in the part of CrossFit that I loved the most. You were like the kiddie that was doing it all, and on top of that, are you 41 now, James?
14. I'm 14.
14. Sorry, yeah, you're in the mirror. Yeah.
In the mirror, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My birthday is on Monday. So
Monday. What, Monday next week?
yeah.
All right. So you're 14 now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay.
I'll be 41 on Monday.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Right. Okay. So, well, for then, happy birthday. Right. So you're currently 40 then. So we're the same age. So I'm 40 as well. And so you were the same age as me, and you were doing the thing the part of it that I loved, but much better than me. And you had some media presence, you were quite, you were online and on the social. So, and within CrossFit, you were part of that. So, I did love seeing that. So yeah, it's a bit of a meet hero kind of thing for me. So
thank you,
thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Got a few people, obviously you're US based, got a few US based listeners. Vinted. Have you used Vinted at all?
No.
I think it's something. I think it's similar to Marketplace, but it's just clothes. I think. One of my friends said he got like a vintage CrossFit T-shirt on there. I was like,
really?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
The new thing is like, besides Marketplace is Shein. You ever heard of Shein? Or
no?
Even the TikTok shop. It's like.
Do you know
that's booming too?
My mate told me that, Jon, who I do another show with, he uses TikTok Marketplace. He uses TikTok for his business. I've never used TikTok, so I don't know how it works. But yeah, apparently it's another option there. Got Heidi. Hello, Heidi. Heidi's a bit of a well-known chat presence. She's everywhere. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just say hello. There we go. So James, you're 40. I'm going to go right back in a minute, but I just want to ask you about your injury, because someone asked it here. Was it how long ago was it that you got injured recently? Was it about a year ago, or was it sooner than that?
It was like it was in October of last year.
Right.
Tore both of my quads in a weightlifting meet that I was doing with Christian Harris, his Move Fast Lift Heavy meet that he has every year. Did it on a weight that I do in my sleep, and it haunts me to this day. It's frustrating. So now it's like I'm on a revenge tour to get back to that weight, and make it my normal again. But I was able to recover from that because they ruled out surgery. They just said, it didn't tear off of the kneecap. It just was up in my like near my groin areas in the upper middle part of the quad.
Right.
So I was able to recover from that. Got back into the lifting easily, but then since my wife had to have hand surgery early in the year, she's like, "Hey, time to get your toes fixed. We met our deductible. You know what you want to do." So I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get it done, because for years, I mean, ever since I stopped playing ball, for years, my big toes have been hurting me in my shoes, and I just always it became the norm for me of just you know what, my feet hurt, but when I would wear shoes, I couldn't wear shoes no more than for 2 hours. So I was like, yo, all right, let's get it done. So I had got my right toe done, bunionectomy. It's like a huge scar from like top of my big toe all the way down to like my high ankle part. And they put 2 screws in, straighten it out, because the toes, like some soccer players and football players, your toes turn inward.
Yeah.
You know? And so they straighten it out and then fix that. And that was, I mean, talk about mental of like not being able to do anything.
Yeah.
Like that, like
Yeah.
that's a serious injury, but it's very common for people.
How have you, because you lift in, is it Romaleos you've got? The Nike lifters. Do you still wear those?
I think the Romaleos, yeah.
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 Do you find they're quite narrow at the front? Like for if you've got a wider foot with the you've had the bunionectomy, do you find, do they work? Do they fit well still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I like those. I want to say I like the previous ones better.
Yeah, the twos.
Yes, I
Oh
like
man,
the previous ones better. Yeah.
There's a certain romance about the number twos.
Yeah.
But I heard recently, because sometimes that they reissue, you know, the different shoes that were popular at the time. But I heard a rumor that Nike actually sold the copyright for the design to another company, and that's why they can't re-release them. So you can find them talking about Vinted and bloody Marketplace and eBay.
Right.
You can go online and you can find them, but they're
they're still on the Nike shop. You can still go to the Nike app and find the
maybe
there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Maybe I'm on about the older ones then. Yeah, the squidgier, wider ones. But I had a pair of them and they were quite wide. But I found the newer ones, they're quite narrow and tight at the front. And I think that's probably what you're talking about with like the football boots, like, and soccer boots that I used to wear growing up. They're quite narrow toed at the front.
Yeah.
So is that what you mean by quite common within, you know, American football and soccer, like the toe coming in? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. It's a lot of that, you know, the narrow toeing, and then also, you know, you stopping, you cutting. You know, you running fast and then your toes get jammed, and you know, they get stepped on, and then you take the shoe off and then your toes are just backed up,
well,
man.
there was this big shift in late 90s, early 2000s, where I don't know about the football boots, but with soccer boots. And yes, Jeremy, I am saying soccer because I've got an American on the show, so quiet down. The soccer boots went from being leather to more like synthetic and plastic for light. They were getting a lot lighter. And because of that, we had a lot of metatarsal issues, because where people were getting stamped on the top of their feet, we were having a lot of broken bones in the feet. Whereas previously that hasn't been an issue with the thicker leather boots. So we had a bit of a change there. But yeah, my mum had a bunion off one of her feet, and I remember quite clearly how much of a traumatic actual surgery that is. On the surface you think it wasn't much of a big deal, they just slice a bit off and that'll do, but apparently it's actually quite a big deal.
I mean when I went back for a week post-op and she took the cast off and I was able to see it, I said, what the I was like, I would have never got the surgery if I knew the scar was this big. You know, so now it's like I got to get my left one done in December. I'm doing that in December. So now it's like, all right, in the meantime, from now to December, I'm going to bulk up. I'm gonna try to get my quads to look like, you know, these CrossFitter quads. I'm gonna try.
Chicken thighs, just, you know, when you get a chicken drumstick, just absolutely jacked into the knee.
Right. Yep. So I'm gonna try to get into some comps and get some American records and world records before I get the surgery, and then see what I can do.
Incredible. And when you say the records, in which sport are you, weightlifting or sprinting? Because I know you tried sprinting as well, didn't you? Was that last year?
Yeah, last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
See, I have the record for the 35 to 39 for the clean and jerk, snatch, and then the total. And those three would be the record for the world.
Wow.
But of course, in weightlifting, you got to do it at a world meet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, do you know, I'm going through a bit of a process. I run the national governing body for our little country that I'm in, and I'm having to take a athlete to Worlds in Norway in October. Is that where you're going?
I wanted to, but now they split.
Right.
It's and they changed the weight classes, so it's not 89 anymore. It's 88.
Yeah. Are you going? What are you doing? What weight category are you going to fit into? Do you reckon you can get 88?
88.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that because on like, without meeting you in person, you look like I'm I'm ashamed to say I'm currently 96 kilos. So when someone like you that appears absolutely stacked online, and I don't often show my body, but it's not quite as aesthetically pleasing as yours, let's say. Seeing someone like yourself weighing 88 kilos is mind-blowing. And then on top of that, we see videos of you, and there's one video I'm going to pull up right now, which, so when you posted this a little while ago, and me and Jon, my mate, we both sent this to each other within about 10 minutes of you posting this.
Oh yeah, the 440. Yeah.
That is
absolutely. I was feeling really good that day.
You're not kidding. That 200 kilo power clean is absolutely unreal. Without giving anything away, right? So have you got numbers in mind that you want to hit at the Worlds later in the year?
So when I was looking at the records, I see the guy that have it now. He did like a 135 snatch,
right,
and like a 170, 175 clean and jerk.
Okay.
So now I'm like, okay, I don't need to go balls to walls.
Like, no.
So.
Yeah, you could probably get what? Would you be able to do like a 175, 180? Do you think at comp? Yeah. Cool. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so it leaves a little bit in the tank for the snatch before then. Nice. So good. So anyone in our realm, anyone that's within CrossFit, we talk about this quite a lot with athletic prowess. And there was a big discussion recently, I don't know if you saw it, about from become power athlete between him and a guy called Andrew Hiller online. They were talking about what an athlete is, what makes an athlete, and they were discussing the difference and what does CrossFit produce. Does CrossFit produce athletes? John Wellborn doesn't think so, which I'm partial to, partially agree with him in some respects. It depends on your definition, doesn't it? But when we start entering the realm of CrossFit, there's certain feats, there's certain visual feats that people can perform that humans, no matter where you're from, no matter what your background, you can see how impressive it is. Now, for me, something as simple as sprinting is probably one of the easiest examples to show someone, an athlete doing it, and they know exactly what's going on. They know that's quick, because everyone, 99% of people have sprinted at some point in their life, and they understand what that entails. With weightlifting, I'm not sure that people fully grasp what an incredible achievement it is for people to lift the weights that you guys can do, especially on stage with no music in front of a crowd, to the standards that we hold, until they start doing it themselves, like in a CrossFit gym and an affiliate. As soon as they start and they try overhead squatting like a 20 kilo bar or 15 kilo bar for ladies, and then they see the levels that people are snatching, and then they clean and jerk, and then they see videos like yours where it's a 200 power clean. And I said this to John at the time when we saw this: how many people on earth can actually deadlift 200 kilos within our niche corner of the market? Probably probably half, not half, 20% of a CrossFit gym can probably can deadlift 200 kilos, but that's just off the floor. That's not power cleaning it. So videos like that within our realm is just phenomenal, and we've got you've got everyone's admiration for the videos you're putting out for that. Yeah, Rambler, all healed up. I believe so. I believe we've covered that already. So James, I'm gonna take you back a little bit now. So your background growing up, you said you moved to Iowa in 2018. Where were you before that? So where did you grow up?
I'm originally from South Bronx, New York.
Right.
Grew up there, and then went to high school in South Jersey, and that's where the linebacking coach from Iowa had ties to New Jersey. So he visited out in New Jersey, and he grabbed us. It was me, Albert Young, Sean Green, and a couple other guys, and he became the staple for New Jersey. So I don't know if you know how recruiting works, but like if you have ties to a certain area, you'll be that main coach that recruit that area.
Right.
And also the little other areas around it, like Philadelphia, Maryland, New York. You'll be the one to handle the East Coast, while another coach will be the one to handle South, Virginia, Georgia, like that. So that's what brought me to Iowa. Met my wife here. We went to the University of Iowa. But prior to moving back to Iowa in 2018, we was out in California for 8 years, from 2010 to 2018.
Great. Awesome. And how was California for you? Enjoy your time there?
Oh man, I love it. Man,
yeah.
I mean, I'm a New York guy, as you can see, Yankee all day, but I mean, West Coast is the best coast, man. Man, it's just, from the demographics, the different people, it's just, it's the weather, the background. It's not like out here where it's just flat, flat, but California, mountains, like just mountains, just something different that you can wake up and see every day. Going hiking on Christmas, like 80,
that's
85,
nuts.
90 degrees. Like it's just, you can't beat that.
No. Yeah. Well, if you like the heat, that's awesome. Yeah.
That too. Right.
I've got family in Australia, in Perth, and they moved out there in '92. And for the longest of time, obviously there wasn't video phones, there wasn't the ability to video each other, but video came back 2003, 2004, and we had a video call with them on Christmas Day, and I remember it. And they were having a barbecue around the pool on Christmas Day. And for me, growing up in Northern Europe, that is just mind blowing. Like the idea of having a hot Christmas. I've only had that once, and that was on my honeymoon in St. Lucia. That was 10 years ago now. But yeah, it's we often forget, those of us that aren't around the US, we often forget how ginormous America is and how diverse it is. Like every state you go to is like a different country almost, and the landscape and the population and the demographics and the cultures and the everything's so varied and different, which is lovely. And the fact that you can just travel between them is a massive bonus. So you've had a bit of a background in terms of where you've lived and locations. I wouldn't dare to ask you which one is your favorite.
I mean, West Coast is the best coast, but New York, like
New York.
I mean, it's the vibe, the culture, diversity, just like California, but New York is New York, man. I mean, when I go back there, it's like I'm home. Like every fast cars, hey, as soon as the light turn green, you beep me the horn, like we gotta go, like we got places to be, and then it's just the vibe. The vibe is just the grittiness, the from the Stone, Broward, brick buildings, the projects, it's just, the vibe can't be matched. You know what I mean? And it's a great vibe there, man. It's a good feeling.
And I guess, so you would have been, what, you're an 84 baby, is that right?
Yes, 84.
So 94, 95, you'd been 10, turning 11. You had, the rap scene coming out of there, and Mike Tyson, like at their height, so as a 10 or 11-year-old coming from there, living there, and having that culture going global at the same time, that must have been really instilled something passionate, and now looking back, nostalgic for you, having to be able to claim to have been there, at the epicenter of those.
Yeah, I mean, like even with like when Michael Jordan was coming to age, like my first pair of J's was the cement threes, and I can remember this vividly, like the cement threes, and like how everybody was just so happy to have them, and then and then like during that time, like 87, 88, everything was on the radio. So you would listen to them, and then you would hear Rakim, and then you would hear Special Ed, and Run DMC. You would just hear all these guys, and then of course your uncles would be in the living room watching Mike Tyson knocking a guy out, and then everybody just going crazy about that, right? And then the 90s came, and then you hear you got your Wu-Tang, you got your LL, and then it's just like everybody in the culture just submerged into that. And you would think that, like, even though Michael Jordan played for Chicago, you would think everybody you would think he played in New York. Like, that's how much like culture and different sports bleed into like these type of areas. And then with Tupac, even though he's originally from that area, with Juice, the movie that he did, Juice, and then Biggie come onto the scene, and that's when, like, that's if you are a rap connoisseur, you would know what Biggie did for like just rap as a whole, and just imagine what he did for the city of New York. Like, Biggie was just amazing, man.
I mean, we talked about this last week on a show. We were talking about the influence of America and the US, and I'm not political, right? I don't delve into politics. It's way over my head.
Me neither.
No, so we touched on that, but we moved on quickly to fuck off, Omar. What was a bloody no? Yeah, Cool J is. I used to wear one jean up to my knee because of
one, with the FUBU.
Yeah, I didn't quite go that far. Ali G ruined all that for us. Do you know Ali G? Yeah, he started wearing FUBU as a joke to mock type of people in England that wear that, and then so no one could wear it without being Ali G then. But yeah, we were talking about the US, and we're talking about CrossFit. Actually, we're talking about CrossFit, and from a outsider perspective of the US, so someone neutral outside of it that's very involved with CrossFit, like myself. They're trying to grow CrossFit. They're trying to make it global. They're trying to draw more people into the gyms and the affiliates and get it bigger. To do that, clearly they need to make it more of a global appeal for around the globe. But at the same time, in terms of the sports side of it, there's conversation about taking it abroad and taking it on the road and doing the games elsewhere. I'm of the position where I think it should absolutely stay in the US. And in actual fact, I think it should be in California. I think it should be where it started. I think that should be the mecca of CrossFit. They need to re-centralize it so that there's somewhere at the end of the tunnel that people earn their right to go to, where CrossFit was born and done. And the beautiful thing that America did during the 90s, when you and I were growing up, obviously you were there at the time, so I was outside of it. There was a real positivity from the media. There was a real pride in the flag. There was the sport, there was the media, there was the culture, all the fashion coming out of it, all the sports individuals and athletes coming out of it. there was just this thing about America that everyone wanted to witness and to see and to watch, and whether it is in our ears or our eyes watching it or experiencing it. And you know, the one kid at our school, I didn't grow up very wealthy, still aren't, but you know, I'm happy. The one kid at the school that got to go to America on holiday that year, and then he came back in like red, white, and blue jacket with an American hat and a New York jacket and everything, you know, wearing the Jordans, and we were like, wow, he's made it. He went to America. And
Right.
and on the show the other day, we were talking about like the difference now, and I truly think it's just because I've got older. You know, I'm 40 as well. Maybe it's something to do with that, but for yourself, having been born at the epicenter of the 90s, like in the 90s, it wasn't about LA to us, to outsiders. It was New York. New York was the coolest place on earth. So you got to live there and be part of that. So that's probably something special in mind, I guess.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you know, it's I mean, everybody has their right to bring their culture into the atmosphere of rap. You know, I don't know about you, but I love the crunk era. You know, Atlanta, Little John, like
yes, yeah.
You know, even though they were making noise early on, you know, with Outkast, not too many people were on Outkast, you know, in 95, you know, 94, 95. Like Outkast were, they were doing their things in.
They started in one of Andre's basement, didn't they, or something? There was a documentary a little while ago about them all, and I was quite ignorant. I obviously know Outkast and their music, but I didn't know the background with Atlanta and everything. And I watched that and I was like, wow, this is pioneering stuff. And to this day, I'm still waiting for Andre 3000's album, like another album to come out where he's not playing a flute, because it didn't quite hit with me. I'm sure music, it's just way above my head.
I think he passed his time. That's like Lil Wayne just dropped his album, right? Carter 6.
Yeah.
He's not, you know, no ceilings Lil Wayne. He's not the Carter 3 Lil Wayne anymore.
No.
Like, it's just he waited too long. He passed his time, you know. And but yeah, I feel as if everybody have their opportunity and should be allowed their opportunity to go ahead and branch their culture into the atmosphere of rap, which we see them do that now, and it, because then everybody felt as if they needed to be a New York rapper, right? But they said, nah, you know, we have our own style. We have UGK, we have MJG, we have, you know, we have Outkast now. Then Little John helped come in to branch in, like, oh, okay, we got the South. You know, Snoop and them was making noise too. You know, the Chronic is top 5, right? I mean, Doggy Style is top 10. Like they had it, but they didn't have it on that New York scale. So the New York versus West Coast kind of branched to where, all right, now we have a sound of everybody. So when 03 happened with the crunk music, that allowed Texas to hop in, chopped and screwed, right? Everybody chopped and screwed. Paul Wall, you know, Slim Thug and all them, right? That allowed them. And then you know you got the Louisiana rappers, you know, 99 with Juvenile in them. So now we have this whole mixed ball. I don't know what we have now, even though we got Kendrick, K-Dot, shout out to K-Dot. You know, he's bringing it back to that original feel. But besides him,
do you? Yeah. See, I keep having this back and forward about a lot of different things in my life, and I don't know if it's age, because I seem to recall hearing this conversation 30 years ago from people that were 40 about things not being good anymore. And I can't tell if it's that
age, bro. We gotta get into it.
Yeah, I think so. But I do feel quite blessed that I grew up throughout the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because we did have it very good. Like politically, music, media, sport, like all of the big names in sport. Like there's been a few throughout the last 50 years, but without a doubt, you go from 1990 to 2005, those 15 years are like textbook epic. Yeah. So I feel quite blessed there. Ortega's asking, what's the song you're currently listening to? Have you got one on repeat?
I have Money Trees by Kendrick Lamar. Yeah.
Jeremy, throw your hands in the air and wave. Yeah. How many times do you think between 1980 and 95, hands in the air, someone rhymed air and care? Quite a high number there.
Oh yeah.
Louisiana, so yeah. We'll go there. We'll go. So music aside then, James. So let's take you back to you were at Iowa, Iowa College. How did you get on at college? Do you like reminding everyone that it's for education as well? Because a lot of the time when we talk to athletes, we don't really talk about the actual education they got at college. But what did you major in at college when you were there?
History.
Oh man,
history. African American studies. Yeah, history.
Wow. So I majored in history as well. So that was my major. I didn't major in African American history, funny enough. But did that so you're 40 now, so 19, 20 years. The second half of your life so far, do you think that education and that studying has held strong? Do you think that yeah?
Absolutely, man. I mean, I see the world different than how everybody else would see it. You can't just say anything to me about what's going on in a particular culture, whether if it's mine, whether if it's yours, whether if it's somebody else's, like without knowing the history and how it formed to be the way it is. Like you can't just throw away what happened in history and how certain events happen that shape what we are dealing with now. Like you can't turn a blind eye to that. Some people do, and that's why I always say those people are asleep. But those who have the empathy and the compassion to be able to say, hey, you know what? Like, okay, I'll light a fire. Hey, everybody likes to harp on Christianity, right? I grew up a Christian, but 5 years ago, I walked away from the title of Christian or Christianity, the religion, right? I'm a believer in the Most High, and I believe in His Son. By me walking away from that, takes me back to what I have learned in history, because I can't read this book and what it says in this book for where He says, be holy as your Father in heaven is holy. But I see in history through this religion, them going around colonizing the whole world and doing certain things to certain people. How are you holy in that aspect to make a group of people believe in this God that you're telling them to believe in? Because what your actions is doing is not lining up with what the word says. So that makes me sit back and be like, that ain't this. So what the God that you telling me to believe is different than what this God in the book is portraying to be.
Yeah.
So that's where my mind goes with everything, because I can't turn off what I have learned and what is there for us, in black and white. It's there.
Yep.
And what has shaped to be is I can't turn it off.
Totally with you there. I think as a student of history, Jeremy and I have talked about this quite a lot. Actually, this week, a few video messages back and forth between us. there's a big distinction, I think, between the church and the Bible. And the last 1900, 1800 years of the development of the Bible has been manipulated by an organization that previously was the Roman Empire, that hijacked this theology and made it all about power and a power grab. Now, my mum's a Christian, practicing Christian. So when I say this, it's all from a good place. I want people to be able to believe in whatever their heart feels, and whatever gets them through the day, and whatever resonates with them, and whatever makes sense to people. However, what I'm not in favor of is the imposition on people by force, or by manipulation. And I think that probably sounds a little bit, not to the same extent, but what you were saying about the colonization and traveling abroad and these missionary, missions where they go abroad and they do all this.
I mean, if people really want to go ahead and know what missionary really means or where it started, go back in history. If you really want to take your mind there and know, go ahead and research that to find that out. And it's not going to be a good place. It's not.
No.
It's not going to come from a good place.
No. And that's exactly my point. And your point originally. Once you understand the hundreds and sometimes thousands of years that have built up to a certain method or way, yes, they might lose their potency behind them, but you cannot detract how they got there.
Right.
Not saying to dwell on it, not saying that people have to be punished for it or held to account. However, the knowledge is there for people to find out if they want to dig a little bit deeper under the surface of these traditions and these beliefs. And like I said, my mum's a practicing Christian, church every Sunday, in the choir. I've got some good friends and acquaintances that are practicing Christians. And again, it's not something that I would ever try and convince them of otherwise. It's not my style. It's not my place.
Right.
And I hope that they hold me to the same standard. It's not their place to try and convince. So, question for you then on that. Was that hard for you 5 years ago?
It was. I want to say for about a year, it put a strain on my marriage, because it was like, whoa, you just spring this on me, and it was, I came at it wrong, because it was like a whole bunch of weight was just lifted off of me. And it was like, and it felt good. And it's like, I wanted to share it, with everybody. And I wanted everybody to know the truth of what is going on and how we are being, programmed to believe in what they believe and this and that. But I was doing that too much to my wife, and it was wrong. So I had to pray about it. And when I prayed about it, the Father said, it needs to come from you. Not through your words, but through your actions. Be the light. Right? Be the light along the path. Be the light to others. Everybody can do this, but can they walk it? The more you walk it, the more somebody is going to be able to say, like, hey, you smiling today. Why are you cheery? Why are you smiling? Hey, you did this for me the other day. Why, brother? They're gonna want to know why. That opens the door for me to be able to share. Right? And then if I'm able to share that, if they're able to see my walk, because my walk is always not going to be straight. Scripture talks about that. Your walk is not always going to be straight. To be perfect means for me to be able to acknowledge my wrongs and to make those wrongs right. A righteous man falls down 7 times but stand up 8. But we are under the indoctrination of that you need to be perfect. You can't do nothing wrong. Right? That you got to be, suited up, and you got to be, no lint on your jacket, nothing.
Yeah.
That's not life. The Messiah didn't talk about that. That's not the definition according to the Father. Perfect. That's not the definition. His definition is, hey, can you turn from what you are struggling with and not go into that anymore and try to walk this path that my son had laid out for you to do. If you could do that, I see you as perfect because you are trying. You are enduring to the end. You are trying to hit the goal because he is the goal. The son is the goal. He is the end. So as long as you endure to the end, you will be perfect in my eyes, not according to what man says. Because they, you know, as they teach us, or as they tell us, there was only one perfect person, right? And that was the son. But even the son told us to be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Not like him. He know we ain't going to be perfect as him because he told us a righteous man is going to fall 7 times. But when you fall, stand up, dust it off, and keep going.
The pursuit.
The pursuit, yes.
Knowing full well that you'll never get there.
As long as, even if you're on that path and you veer off, you have a way to get back onto that path to go straight. When you veer off, it's not, you know, unless you just going to veer off and just say, you know, F it. I don't want to be on that path no more. And then, yeah, you just going to be all the way over there. But are you willing to be set apart?
Now, Heidi knew where I was going with this. Heidi's very clever. She is very clever, but also she's listened to me talk a million times, so she knows where I'm going with this, right? So I've got a passion for Greek mythology, the ancient Greek cultures. My 2 kids are Athena and Adonis, so they're named after a couple of the myths. Now I've got
my daughter's name is Briseis. You know, Briseis from the movie.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Oh, lovely. And Freya, I believe.
And Freya,
yeah. Oh, lovely. Yeah. Now I've got on my wrist. I've got a tattoo of, where is he? Sisyphus. There's this Greek myth down here. Obviously, a little bit older than the story we're talking about, but the purpose of this myth is that, I don't know if you're familiar with Sisyphus and the pushing the boulder up the hill. So he angered the gods twice. He skipped death. He escaped death. He, you know, tricked the gods. His punishment was for eternity to be pushing this boulder up a hill. He'd wake up in the morning. He'd push it all the way to the top, just as about to the top. It would fall down the hill. He'd have to start again for eternity, going through the motions, knowing full well he would never reach the top. And this has been used to kind of highlight and mirror the human existence, the human journey of, we know full well you're never going to get to the top, you know, and I think that's reflected in what you're talking about, the pursuit of perfection. You're never going to get there. And there's this French philosopher called Camus, and he wrote this essay called The Myth of Sisphus. And what he talks about is, we have to find purpose. We have to find drive. We have to find enjoyment and structure in the pursuit of things, rather than thinking about the end game, rather than thinking about reaching the end. We have to find happiness in the journey with knowing and fully understanding that there's no end, you know, and that perfection that we're talking about, like you said about, you know, God and his son. You're never going to get to that end. You're never going to be perfect. However, we must find that journey. We must find that pursuit. We must follow that path, whatever that means to you. If you're a practicing Muslim, if you're a Jew, if you're a Christian, if you're a Hindu, whatever structure system you are basing your life around and the value set, it's all about the pursuit of good. That's what it comes down to. And I think it's easy to spot when people aren't following that path. Whatever that is built in us, that's what that is. Didn't expect to be talking like that to you, James. I'll be honest. That's good. I like that. I love that you did history. It's just amazing. Do you need to rush off, James? Or are you okay?
About 5-10 more minutes.
Cool. Lovely. Thank you. So moving on. So you're at the Chicago Bears. You're a wide receiver, is that right?
Yes.
Wow. How was that? Big question.
For me, it was challenging.
Right.
Had a lot of things going on. I spoke about this many times, so I don't mind sharing it again. I think this is why I have such a passion as a father, as a dad, because I know the importance of being there. I know the importance of being on time. I know the importance of showing up. I know what it makes a kid feel like because I was that kid, right? And I know the importance of having the right guidance. So all that I said. Oh, go ahead. You want to say something? Good.
No. I've got something that I want to pull up when you're finished. When you're finished with this bit.
Okay. So with all that being said, I didn't have that, right? And so as I got into football, it was easy for me to fall into partying. It was easy for me to fall into women and and the glitz and glamour that comes with football at an early age, high school. Top 25 school in the nation. All American, all that comes with that. I fell into because I didn't have no foundation. Everything that I mentioned before wasn't laid, right? So back to me being with the Bears, I had pressure, so much pressure of me being this person that everybody else wanted me to be. It was just too much. So while I was in college, I tried to take my life because it was easier for me to go away with that than me having to live with failing and not living up to their expectations. So while I'm with the Bears, I'm focusing on a girl I was dating at the time. I had a daughter. I had a 5-year-old daughter at the time, and it's like I'm focusing on that, on all of that. But being at that level, you can't have those factors. That's why when you hear Shaquille or Jordan or all the greats talk about, if you're going to do this sport or any major league, hockey, soccer, anything, if you're going to do it at a top-notch level, you got to sacrifice. You got to sacrifice time with your kids. You got to sacrifice time with your wife, being home, and you have to sacrifice because you're chasing greatness. And that's what that sports and that's what all these sports give off. If you're looking to be a great one, but then also if you're looking to be a high paid athlete, they need you to be all in. They coming to get Jake. They ain't coming to get Jake and his kids and and your wife. No, they coming to get Jake. So it was easy for me to I remember going in talking to Lovie Smith and the Chapman, and it was easy for me to say, hey, as of right now, I can't do it. I got to walk away. Me walking away and coming back home to New Jersey, New York, I mean, that whole year and a half was just like, man, it was dark. I mean, it was dark. Like, people looking at me like turned up noses, people shaking their heads at me, you shouldn't be here, this and that. And it's like, do you want to know why I walked away? Do you want to know where my heart and my mind was at? Or are you just worrying about me being able to?
Oh. I think. Right. There he is. Hello, James.
Yeah.
You there? Okay.
Yeah. I'm here.
Good. Yeah. So sorry, you were just saying. Sorry, I know you got to get off. You and the reason you're going off. Now I want to show this video. Now, Heidi, I need you to make sure you got some tissues near you because James, I'm going to play this video. I watched this again today, and I just want to play this for everyone. And this ties in nicely with what you were just saying. So let me just play this.
There's so many things I've got to tell you. but I'm afraid I don't know how. 'Cause there's a possibility that you look at me differently, love. Ever since the first moment I spoke your name, from then on I knew that by you being in my life, things were destined to change. 'Cause love, so many people use your name in vain. Love, those who have faith in you sometimes go astray. Love, through all the ups and downs, the joys and hurts. Love, for better or worse, I still will choose you first.
Oh man, I watched that so many times today. I showed my daughter that, and my daughter was watching it, and she teared up. She's 7. She was watching that. That is an absolutely beautiful video, and that sums up everything that you've just talked about. Okay, being there. You don't have to be the best at what you're doing. You don't have to be perfect. You've just got to put in the time and be there for people. And that video with you and your daughter, that's hard. That's hard hitting. It's lovely. And you should be so proud of that. And 20 years down the road from your experiences at college, you know, you've done a fantastic job, James. And I had so much to talk to you about TBO and about you as a dad, as a parent, as a man, as a, you know, someone shining light on for your, you know, for your representing your team around you. But I know you've got to go, so I won't hold you any more of your time. But
if
James,
we could do this again, man, yeah, I love talking with you, man. This is good. Yeah. If we could set up a time again,
that'll be amazing, James. Thank you so much. But yeah, go and spend time with the daughter at gymnastics.
Yeah.
And but thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I'll be in contact about rearranging another time. That'd be great.
Yes. Thank you, man.
All right, James. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye. Oh, man. How good's that video? Yeah. What a man, eh? Good. I had so many questions to ask him about CrossFit, TBO. Also, the question I do want to ask him, right, is about social media, because he's posted a couple of videos recently of him in the gym wearing one of those little mic things that I've tried as well. Yeah, Jeremy, I mean, don't blame me. Blame him being a fucking brilliant dad and having a good taste in music. Yeah, he's wearing one of these little mic things and trying to talk in the gym and trying to do like the whole social media thing. I can't do it, man. Like I'll try it and I'll end up just being crap. But yeah, I wanted to ask him about that. Loads of questions. But yeah, hopefully we did a good job there. So I am back in, how long we got, boys? Just over an hour. We just got over an hour. We're back on Glinton things, where we're doing the head-to-head. We've got Jeremy, up against Augustus. And hopefully, Jeremy, I've downed your testosterone now from that video. So Augustus can nail you. But yeah, we're back in about an hour on the Glinton Things channel. So if you aren't already watching that, please do. We'll be out live in about an hour and 10 minutes. But me and Yoni Boy will be on then. But yeah, the head-to-head will be good. And it's an awful workout. It'll be amazing for us to watch, but awful. And also, we've got a phone line. We've got a phone line set up, and we want to test it, right? So we'll put the phone line when you're done, when we've done, we'll put the phone line on, and whoever wins can have our christen our phone line and can speak to someone if we can get it working. So yeah, thanks for joining me. And what a man, eh? What a man. Corey will call in. Good. But yeah, hopefully see you in a bit, guys. Go and have some tea, grab a coffee. Jeremy and Augie, come and get ready. Oh, thanks, Eric. Do you want a little secret, Eric? I haven't actually done it today. I had a shower this morning. I've been at work. Enough about that. Right. I will see you in a bit. Cheerio. Godspeed and all that.